I discovered my cancer. I was taking a shower, and I found a lump. And at the time, my ex-husband was a surgical tech, and I'm like, feel this. He's like, oh yeah, something there. I'm like, you could have said it a lot nicer, but I found the lump, and they did an MRI, and they found another one. So I ended up having to have a mastectomy instead of lumpectomy. But the thing is, it was Breast Cancer Awareness Month when I found it. The day after I found it, I'm trying to figure out how do I tell my kids. My son was 5 at the time. So he's eating some banana nut crunch, and the race for the cure was on the back of the box. And he's like, Ma, do men get breast cancer? I said, yeah, they do. He's like, do you have it? Mind you, I found out the day before. And I said, why did you ask me that? He said, because if you do, then we can just go to the race. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, but what if I do have it? He said, well, at least now you know. So I said, okay. I explained that I did have it. He said, well, you're gonna be okay. And I said, no, I have to tell your sister, so don't say anything to her. He said, yeah, I know, because she a big crybaby, so she gonna cry. But when I went to go tell her, I stopped, got a box of tissues, and went to her house to tell her, and she did pretty well. She did good because she said, because of the fact that I see that you're okay, I know you're going to be okay.
I found out during the time that I was getting my regular mammogram. I had a very good doctor at the time, a doctor who was willing to find a needle in a haystack. But she was one of those doctors that faithfully wanted me to go get a mammogram once a year, and that's because I have dense breasts, and it just means that it's difficult to see things clearly because it's a lot of tissue built up in my breasts. So May 10th, 2017, I went in for my regular mammogram. The very next day, they called me back and said I needed to come back in for a second one. I went in for my second mammogram. They explained to me that they found some calcification in my breast and that the doctor needed to talk to me. The doctor came in, told me that he believes that I may have cancer, and he wanted to do a biopsy. I went for my biopsy May 26th. Biopsy was the worst pain ever. It's an uncomfortable procedure. The staff was pretty nice, but it's still, your mind is racing because of everything that's going on. After the biopsy, I received a call back from the doctor who told me over the phone, which was the worst type of news you can get while I was at work. It was May 31st. It was 9 a.m. in the morning. He called, I answered, and he said, is this a good time to talk? And I said, it all depends on what it is you want to share with me. And his response was, I'm just calling to let you know that you have breast cancer. I got off the phone. The nurse immediately asked what was wrong. We went in a room. I fell apart. She told me that I can go home, but, she wasn't my supervisor. So my supervisor just told me to schedule an appointment with a breast specialist. And I did it, finished my job for the rest of the day. Called my parents, called a couple of my close family members to have them meet me at my parents' house. On the way to my parents' house, my personal doctor called me on the phone and just asked how I was doing. She already knew, but she said that she had to wait for the doctor who did the biopsy to tell me the news. And she said, I never forget it, that we're going to get through this together.